They thought he was just a quiet rancher. They thought taking his daughter would force him to give up his land. What they didn't know was that Jack Stone Harmon was once a Special Forces K-9 commander, and he didn't retire alone. At his side are 4 elite war dogs, Maximus, Reaper, Phantom, and Ace, trained, loyal, and lethal. When the Cartel Luchos de Plata kidnapped 17-year-old Sophia Harmon, they thought they had the upper hand, but they weren't prepared to be hunted. Not by a father with nothing to lose and 4 military-trained canines ready for war. How do you take on a cartel when you're outnumbered? How do you rescue your daughter before time runs out? Stick with us, because what happens next is a battle of survival like you've never seen. Before we dive in, let us know where you're watching from. And if this story hits you in the heart, don't forget to subscribe, because tomorrow's episode is something you won't want to miss. As the sun rises over Ironwood Ranch, the dry air carries the scent of earth and old memories. Jack steps onto the porch, coffee in hand. His face is worn from years of battle, but his eyes are sharp, always watching. Around him sit Maximus, the tracker, Reaper, the muscle, Phantom, the shadow, and Ace, the youngest with promise in every move. They're not pets. They're soldiers in a silent war. Sophia steps out with her backpack, flashing her mother's smile and her father's steel. "I'm heading to school," she calls. Jack watches her climb into her Jeep. "Stay aware," he says. She knows that tone. Something's off. She doesn't question it. "Love you, Dad." "Love you too." The dust trail of her Jeep fades. Maximus nudges Jack's leg, sensing what Jack already feels. Something's wrong. Later that morning, as Jack repairs a fence with his ranch hand Luis, Maximus suddenly locks in. The other dogs shift into formation. Jack follows their gaze. 3 black SUVs kick up a storm on the dirt road, heading straight for the house. 6 men step out. Expensive clothes can't hide their combat posture. Their leader smiles too easily. "Senor Harmon, I hope we're not interrupting your morning," he says with a polite tone and cold eyes. Jack steps forward, flanked by his dogs. "You are. State your business." "I'm Marcos Santos. My employer's interested in your land. We'd like to discuss a generous offer." Jack scans the men as they subtly spread out, eyes moving, measuring. These aren't investors. These are tacticians. "I'm not selling," Jack says flatly. Santos tries again. "Perhaps a lease, storage, transport. You still own the land." Still no expression, still no deal. "Like I said, not interested." Santos slowly reaches into his jacket. Jack's body tightens, but it's just a card. "Think about it. The offer won't get better." Jack doesn't take it. Santos smirks. "We'll be in touch." But what Santos doesn't know is that Jack won't wait to be hunted. "Beautiful daughter you have," the man said, a sly smirk tugging at his lips. "Sophia, isn't it? Just about to graduate? Such a bright future ahead." Jack Stone Harmon didn't flinch, but his jaw tightened. His eyes, cold and focused, didn't waver. "You just made a mistake," he said, voice low, calm, lethal. Santos raised an eyebrow, still pretending this was small talk. "Did I? I was only being polite." Jack's words cut through the air like a blade. "My family is off limits. Come back here again and we'll have a very different kind of conversation." Santos gave a hollow chuckle, nodded to his men, and they retreated to their SUVs. "No need for hostility, Senor Harmon. Just business." As the convoy pulled away, Luis stepped beside Jack, voice barely above a whisper. "Los Cielos de Plata, they're moving north." Jack gave a grim nod. "Tell Miguel. Let him know we had visitors." While Luis made the call, Jack headed for the barn. Inside, past dust and weathered wood, he slid aside a panel and entered a hidden code. A section of the floor opened, revealing a stairwell that led to something no one would expect on a ranch. A fully equipped underground command center, state-of-the-art surveillance, encrypted communications, weaponry, and tactical gear filled the room. Jack powered up the screens. Satellite feeds loaded. His eyes scanned the land he knew better than anyone. He hadn't picked this ranch by accident. It was strategic, just like in the service. High ground, water access, clear sight lines, and he'd been tracking cartel movement for months. This wasn't the beginning of something. It was the next move. The phone on the wall rang. Jack picked up. "Harmon!" "Luis called," came the voice of Sheriff Miguel Vasquez, Jack's old unit brother, now the law around these parts. "You had visitors?" "Los Cielos de Plata," Jack confirmed, "trying to buy me out. They mentioned Sofia." A pause on the line. "Not good. You want me to send a deputy to the school?" "Not yet. Don't want to spook her. But have someone watch the area." "Jack, don't do anything reckless." "Define reckless." "You know what I mean. Let the law handle this." Jack didn't argue, but they both knew it wasn't a promise. "Just keep your people off my South Ridge the next few days." "I don't want to know, do I?" "Probably not." After hanging up, Jack scanned the feeds. Nothing yet. But his gut told him something was coming. He checked his gear, rechecked it, then waited. Afternoon came. Sofia was 20 minutes late. Jack reached for his phone just as a text came in. "Staying late to work on a project with Sarah, home by 6. Don't worry." Jack stared at it. The wording didn't feel like her. He replied, "What project?" The response came fast. "Chemistry, no big deal." He didn't buy it. He called. She picked up. "Hey, Dad," she said, voice tight. "Where are you?" he asked calmly. "At school, working with Sarah." Jack listened. No school noise, no hallway chatter. "What's the project about?" A pause. Covalent bonds?" "What's the emergency code?" Jack asked suddenly. "Dad, the code, Sofia." "Bluebird," she answered right, but something still felt off. "Are you actually at school?" A longer pause. "No, I'm at the Coffee Bean. We just wanted to hang out. I'm sorry I lied." Relief, but only for a second. "Listen to me. Pack up and come home. Now." "Why?" "Just do it." "Have you seen any black SUVs today?" A pause. "Actually, yeah. One's parked outside right now." Jack's blood went cold. "Get in your Jeep. Leave. Now. Stay on the phone." He moved to the window, scanning the road. "Are you driving?" "Yes, I'm on the main road now," she said, voice shaking. "Dad, what's happening?" "I'll explain when you get here. Just keep moving." Jack unlocked his weapons cabinet, grabbed his sidearm, and signaled to the dogs. Maximus, Reaper, Phantom, and Ace snapped into position. Sofia's voice came through again, trembling. "That SUV, it's behind me. A few cars back." Jack's jaw clenched. "Stay calm, don't speed. Just drive like normal. I'm right here." 10 agonizing minutes passed. Then, he heard her Jeep coming up the drive. Jack stepped outside, the dogs flanking him like shadows. Sofia pulled in, jumped out, and ran to him. "It stopped at the turnoff," she whispered, pale. "It just sat there." Jack wrapped her in a quick hug, then looked her in the eyes. "Pack a bag, essentials only." "Why? What's happening?" "We're not staying here tonight." Jack took a slow, steady breath. "Those men this morning, they weren't businessmen. They were from Los Cielos de Plata, a cartel, and they want the ranch. They won't take no for an answer." Sofia froze, eyes wide. "Cartel? Like, real cartel? What would they want with our ranch?" Jack glanced at his watch. "Strategic location, near smuggling routes, good terrain, easy to exploit." She blinked, stunned. "This is insane. I need you to pack. Now. We're going to Miguel's for the night until I can secure the ranch." Still shaken, Sofia headed to her room. Jack turned to the surveillance monitors, and there it was, the SUV, still at the end of the driveway. He grabbed his phone. "Miguel, they made their move. One of their cars followed Sofia. I'm bringing her to your place." "I'll be ready," Miguel replied. Jack hung up and began loading gear. Maximus watched him, ears up, sensing the shift in energy. Jack knelt and scratched behind the dog's ears. "We've been through worse, haven't we, boy?" As night fell, Jack loaded Sofia and the dogs into the truck. He gave one last look at the ranch, the home he built, the land he defended. His jaw clenched. The cartel had no idea who they'd just threatened. At the end of the drive, the SUV was gone. But Jack knew this was far from over. Los Cielos de Plata had made their first move. Tomorrow, he'd make his. If you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. Now let's keep going. By the time Jack's truck pulled into Sheriff Miguel Vasquez's house, darkness had swallowed Copper Canyon. The headlights lit up the porch where Miguel stood, hand near his holstered weapon, eyes sharp. In the truck bed, the dogs shifted, alert, focused. "This is ridiculous," Sophia muttered, grabbing her bag. "We're running from our own home because some guys in suits showed up?" Jack shut off the engine. "Those guys in suits have killed families for less than what we have." Miguel stepped forward, face heavy with concern. He gave Sophia a quick hug. "Your dad's right to take this seriously. Los Cielos de Plata doesn't show up for friendly chats." Inside, maps were spread across the dining table. Jack released the dogs. They silently moved to secure the perimeter, gliding like shadows. "They've been creeping north for months," Miguel explained, pointing to key areas. "Started with small plots, then took the Garrett Ranch. The owner moved to Florida. Now they're after yours." "But why our ranch?" Sophia asked, arms crossed at the counter. Jack answered without looking up. "Water access, isolation, natural cover, 3 entry points. Perfect smuggling territory," Miguel nodded. "It's a textbook hub for running product." He pointed to a pattern. "Offer first, then pressure, then violence." "What kind of violence?" Sophia asked, her voice a bit unsteady. "Threats, arson, sometimes worse," Miguel said quietly. "Which is why you're staying here." Sophia looked up, defiant. "And school? My life? I'm supposed to hide?" "For a few days, yes," Jack said. "Miguel's deputies will drive you if needed." "This is crazy. We should call the FBI." Miguel sighed. "We have. They're overwhelmed at the border. Unless there's hard evidence on U.S. soil, they hand it off to local departments." Jack traced a line on the map. "I need to get back to the ranch tonight. Secure the perimeter. Get the dogs in place." "You're going back?" Sophia asked, alarm rising in her voice. "If I leave it empty, they'll see it as weakness," Jack said calmly. "Besides, the dogs work better at home." A knock at the door froze the room. Miguel checked his phone's camera feed and relaxed. "It's Abby." Dr. Abigail Foster entered with her medical bag, confident, focused, no nonsense. She'd been treating Jack's dogs since he first arrived in Copper Canyon. "Got what you asked for," she said, laying the supplies on the table. "Trauma kits, antibiotics, sedatives if needed." "Appreciate it," Jack nodded. She turned to Sophia, her tone softening. "How are you holding up, kiddo?" Sophia gave a tired shrug. "Apparently we're at war with a drug cartel, so, normal Tuesday." Abby smirked. "You've got your dad's sense of humor." Outside, Maximus gave a low growl. Alert. Jack moved to the window. The dog stood still, locked on something unseen beyond the road. Jack's gut twisted. "Time to move." He turned to Sophia. "Stay with Miguel. Keep your phone charged. No posts, nothing public." "I'm not stupid, Dad." "I know you're not," Jack replied, softer now. "That's why I need you to be smart, just for a little while." Jack gave a sharp whistle. All 4 dogs appeared instantly, standing at the ready. Abby handed over the supplies. "I'll check on them tomorrow." "Be careful," she said. "Always am," Jack answered. Miguel walked Jack back to the truck. "I've got deputies posted outside town. If the cartel moves, we'll know." Jack nodded. "Keep her safe." "With my life. You just keep breathing." The drive back to Ironwood Ranch was quiet, tense. The dogs in the back never took their eyes off the dark horizon, because the real fight was only just beginning. Taking no chances, Jack avoided main roads, weaving through back routes, scanning for tails. When Ironwood Ranch finally came into view, he killed the headlights and coasted the last quarter mile in silence. Everything looked normal, but Jack trusted his instincts more than appearances. He parked behind the barn and gave a quick hand signal. The dogs disembarked without a sound, immediately spreading out in formation to secure the perimeter. Maximus stayed by Jack's side as they approached the house. Inside, nothing seemed out of place. Still, Jack moved straight to the living room's hidden panel, revealing a keypad. He entered the code, and the surveillance system powered on. Multiple screens lit up, showing real-time feeds from every angle of the property. Jack rewound the footage. His eyes narrowed. A black SUV had passed the ranch 3 separate times after he'd left with Sophia. On the 3rd pass, 2 men exited the vehicle at the edge of the property and disappeared into the tree line. They never reappeared on camera. "We've got company," Jack murmured to Maximus. It was nearly midnight. Perfect. Jack retrieved night vision goggles, a tactical vest, and his sidearm, then slid in an earpiece before heading back into the night. The breeze rustled through the trees, but everything else was still. He knelt beside Reaper, the German shepherd, ready and waiting. "Find them," Jack whispered. Reaper moved out, low and silent, with Phantom right beside him. Maximus and Ace remained behind, waiting for Jack's signal. Through his goggles, Jack watched the dogs melt into the shadows. 10 minutes passed, then a soft crackle in Jack's earpiece. "Movement at your southeast corner. 2 men, armed." Luis, reliable as ever, perched in the hidden observation post they'd built months ago. His military past made him more than just a ranch hand. He was family. "Roger that," Jack whispered. He motioned to Maximus and Ace and moved toward the southeast ridge. The terrain gave them the advantage. Natural dips and high brush, all designed for cover. Through the green glow of his goggles, Jack spotted the intruders. 2 men in tactical gear, methodically scanning and marking positions on handheld devices. Their movements were sharp, practiced. Cartel recruits weren't just street thugs anymore. These had training, likely ex-military. Jack flanked them from behind, closing in. With a few subtle clicks through his mic, a signal only his dogs understood, he triggered the trap. Seconds later, Reaper and Phantom emerged silently from opposite angles. The men froze, sensing danger. One raised his weapon, but before he could aim, Jack stepped out of the shadows, calm, steady, gun lowered, but ready. "You're trespassing," Jack said coolly. The men spun, weapons lifting, but Reaper's growl stopped them cold. Phantom mirrored him, a low rumble vibrating from his chest. Maximus and Ace stepped in behind Jack, surrounding the scene. The trap was complete. "I wouldn't," Jack said, eyeing the man whose finger twitched near the trigger. "They're faster than you, and they don't miss." The intruders hesitated, sizing up their odds. One of them spoke, thick accent. "We were just passing through." "With night vision and weapons?" Jack raised an eyebrow. "Try again." The other muttered something in Spanish. Jack answered in fluent Spanish, catching them off guard. "Yes, I understand. Now drop your weapons." They hesitated, then obeyed. "Kick them away." They complied again, reluctantly. "Tell Santos his surveillance team needs work," Jack added, his voice sharp now. "You don't know who you're dealing with, Rancher," one warned. "I know exactly who I'm dealing with, and you've got 2 options. Leave and deliver my message, or stay and see what my dogs are really trained for." Reaper stepped forward on cue, lips pulled back, teeth gleaming. The men backed off, wisely choosing the first option. "Tell Santos," Jack said firmly. "This land is off limits. Next time, my dogs won't be on leashes." As they retreated into the trees, Jack gave a sharp whistle. Luis emerged silently with his rifle ready. "Follow them. Make sure they leave." Luis nodded and melted back into the night. Jack picked up the discarded weapons. High-end, custom-modified. Definitely not standard Cartel issue. Los Cielos de Plata was more equipped than he expected. Back inside, Jack secured the weapons and reviewed the footage again. The Cartel was escalating faster than he'd anticipated. His timeline just changed. His phone buzzed. "Miguel, all quiet here. Sophia's asleep." "Jack, had visitors. 2 scouts, message delivered." "Miguel, need backup?" "Jack, not yet. Setting defenses, check in at dawn." Jack pocketed the phone and headed for the barn. In the hidden room below, he began assembling what he had hoped he'd never need. Motion sensors, additional cameras, perimeter alerts, traps, layer after layer of protection. By sunrise, a new security grid had been installed. The dogs rotated through patrols, alert, coordinated, efficient. Luis returned before dawn with intel. The intruders met with a vehicle 2 miles south. They were watching, planning, waiting. but so was Jack, and next time, he'd be ready to end it. Jack stood on the porch, the rising sun spilling gold across the mountains. His phone buzzed. Miguel. "We've got a situation," the sheriff said, skipping any formalities. "Black SUV parked outside the school." Jack's grip tightened on the phone. "Sophia's still with me," he said quickly. "School called in the sighting." By the time deputies got there, the vehicle was gone. "They're sending a message," Jack said flatly. "There's more," Miguel added. "Border Patrol intercepted a shipment last night. Inside, they found documents listing Ironwood Ranch as a future distribution hub. Jack, Los Cielos de Plata is planning something major. Your land isn't just a target, it's a key." Jack stared out at the hills. "They're not backing off." "No," Miguel agreed. "And after that lost shipment, they're likely more desperate." Jack nodded grimly. "Keep Sophia with you, I'm reinforcing the ranch." After hanging up, he called Luis to the barn. It was time to break out the gear he hoped he'd never use. Military-grade jammers, encrypted radios, surveillance disruptors. "Just like old times," Luis muttered. "Let's hope not," Jack said. "Old times got people killed." By midday, the ranch had transformed into a fortress. Motion sensors buried in tree lines, panic buttons hidden in reach, escape routes mapped. The dogs trained on new commands, counter-intrusion, rapid containment. Their discipline made it second nature. Dr. Abigail Foster arrived mid-afternoon to check on the dogs. Her face said everything before she even spoke. "Miguel filled me in," she said quietly, kneeling beside Ace. "You're really going to war with Los Cuchillos de Plata?" "They started it," Jack replied. "These dogs are amazing, Jack. But trained or not, they're not invincible." "Neither am I," he said. "But together, we've got a fighting chance." The secure line rang. Jack answered. Miguel again, voice tight. "Santos just walked into my office, broad daylight, witnesses everywhere, says he wants to talk." "You believe him?" "Not for a second. But he's playing it smart now, calling himself a business representative." "Wants to meet tomorrow, Copper Canyon Diner, noon, public place?" Jack thought it over. "Tell him I'll be there." "Alone?" "Jack, I need to assess what we're up against." Hanging up, Jack stepped outside. The dogs were still in the yard, finishing drills. Maximus padded over, sensing his unease. "They're getting bolder, boy," Jack muttered, scratching behind the dog's ear. "Let's show 'em we are too." As dusk approached, Luis spotted a new vehicle passing the property. Not the black SUV this time. A pickup, tinted windows, slower. Methodical. "They're mapping the land," Jack realized, prepping for a hit. That night, Jack reviewed everything he'd gathered on Los Cielos de Plata. Their expansion was swift and surgical. Their leader, Alejandro El Cuchillo Ortega, was as ruthless as he was tactical. Jack had seen that kind of mind before, in war zones. Then Jack's satellite phone rang. A familiar voice crackled through. "Stone!" "It's Hammer," a former military contact. Jack sat up straight. "Got your message about the cartel. Bad news. You stirred the hornet's nest. Ortega's taken a personal interest." "Why would he care about one ranch?" "Because someone recognized your name in their system. They know who you are, Stone Harmon. Your rep from Afghanistan followed you home. They know what you're capable of?" Jack felt it land like a hammer to the chest. "You're not just a problem now. You're a priority target," Hammer warned. "They'll come prepared. Watch your back, and Stone, watch your daughter." The line went dead. Jack didn't sleep. He rotated the dogs through night patrols, checked every sensor twice. The sunrise brought no peace, only resolve. The diner meeting wasn't for negotiations. It was a test, a scan, a distraction, and Jack knew it. As he prepped to leave for Copper Canyon, Luis rushed up. "My cousin works the gas station on Highway 16. He overheard two guys last night. Said something about acquiring the package tomorrow. They mentioned a school." Jack froze. His heart dropped. "Sophia." Luis shrugged. "Could be coincidence." Jack didn't hesitate. "We don't do coincidence." He dialed Miguel. "They're escalating. Faster than we thought. That meeting tomorrow? It's cover. While I'm with Santos, they'll make their move on her." Jack turned to Luis. Change of plans. We're setting a trap. He loaded Maximus into the truck, eyes hard as stone. Los Cielos de Plata thought they could outmaneuver a soldier, thought they could threaten a father, thought this ranch was just land. They were wrong. They thought he was just a rancher. They thought threatening his daughter would break him. They were wrong. At sunrise, Jack Harmon learns the cartel is escalating. Border Patrol intercepts a shipment with documents naming Ironwood Ranch as a future hub. The plan becomes clear. While Santos meets Jack at the diner in a fake negotiation, the real move will be made on Sofia. Sofia insists on helping. Jack allows limited involvement. She'll appear to be at school but will be secured in Miguel's office, protected by armed deputies. The dogs are positioned around the area, Maximus near the school, Reaper on overwatch, and Phantom and Ace at the diner with Jack. At noon, Jack meets Santos, calm but cold. Santos tries to buy the land again, $5 million, veiled threats. Jack refuses. Then his phone vibrates. Miguel's warning, 3 SUVs just arrived at the school. The attack has begun. Sofia deputies and the dogs are ready. As cartel forces breach the school, Maximus alerts Miguel. Jack exits the diner and races to the scene. Chaos unfolds. Masked men sweep the halls with military precision. Sofia activates her panic button. Miguel and Maximus engage at the exit. Jack storms in with Phantom and Ace. Gunfire, smoke, tactical maneuvers. But it's not just a raid. Ortega himself, the cartel's leader, is on site. He captures Sofia during the chaos and flees the compound. Jack arrives seconds too late. Her panic beacon is moving south fast. She's been taken across the border. Back at Ironwood Ranch, the team regroups. Jack turns the barn into a command center. Maximus, wounded in the fight, is patched up. Jack gathers intel. They track Sofia's location to a cartel fortress in the foothills of Mexico. Jack forms a rescue team, himself, Luis, Miguel, and Ramirez, plus 3 dogs, Phantom, Reaper, and young Ace. They cross the border through secret routes with help from Luis's cousin and infiltrate the compound under the cover of night. Using stealth, diversion, and precise dog tactics, they breach the compound. Sofia, held in the East Wing, manages to steal Santos's phone and send a message to Jack. With perfect timing, the team strikes. Explosions distract the guards. Phantom takes down sentries and Jack reaches Sofia. The escape is brutal. Corridors filled with gunmen, Reaper defending Jack as they run. They reach a drainage tunnel and flee into the ravine. Injured and hunted, Jack, Sofia, and the dogs push forward, trying to reach the U.S. border. At the final moment, Border Patrol and Miguel's reinforcements arrive. Jack and Sofia cross into safety under fire, collapsing into the arms of their allies. Orga escapes, but his cartel is exposed, weakened and fractured. Weeks later, Ironwood Ranch is calm again. Maximus recovers. Sofia, now seeing the world through different eyes, suggests building a training program to prepare others, like Jack prepared her. And as the sun sets, father and daughter watch the horizon together. The cartel underestimated Jack Harmon. He wasn't just a rancher, he was a father, and they came for the wrong child.